Ebony, we have yet to do all these details.
What are you talking about?
On the 5-year planning where it says details. We have like you look.
We're listening, Jewel. If you had a question, we can answer it real fast before we get started again.
Okay. Like, we're gonna, never mind.
Sure, she's not having any trouble. 9:33. So. Just real quick. So, let's say, have you reached she can try to. Renata's back.
Glad to have everybody back. So we have to do.
Because there's no motion, so you can just talk about whatever.
Okay.
And then
We went over the quarterly executive director's evaluation. She did great. The only item that we had really not even issues with was getting the council to be more collaborative and to know everyone and to get back to our mini retreats, our mini learning sessions, so we can be a group. And I know we haven't had that since COVID, and that was something we discussed as maybe to start facilitating. So the next item is the consideration of the 5-year state plan development process. The chair recognizes Britton to start the discussion.
no, I'll start the
Oh, you start the
discussion.
discussion?
He's like looking like a deer in headlights.
Last meeting, we were going over the
That's all
other stuff.
Okay, I am trying to share my screen, but the 5-year development process that staff came up with is included in the executive committee packet. As soon as I get my computer on, we can share it with you guys. I'll pull it up on the screen. But we have come up with a process. Basically, ITAC advises us that this process will take at least 12 to 18 months. This is similar to the process that they used for the last 5-year plan, the 2022 to 2026 plan. So now we're looking at the 2027 plan to 2031 5-year state plan. So this is the process that we've come up with. I kind of want to highlight some things that are in there. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I did want to point out some of the things that the council will be doing for the 5-year plan. So the executive committee and the whole council for this July meeting will approve this process. If you all want to change anything up, we can. And just keep in mind that the dates that we have in that center column, there's a star, and that just means that those dates are subject to change. We're not bound by these dates and they're not set in stone. So if we need to change anything, we can. I'm still looking for my. Just taking forever. So the second item where it says develop the mission statement and position papers, that'll be done next month. And staff are going to just draft a version of the mission statement for the council's consideration. It won't be set in stone, so if you guys have any recommendations or if you have any changes that you want to make, we can make those changes. We will just make recommendations to the council as we normally do.
So if we have any additions, we just submit, okay.
Yes. So, and then we will look at the position papers that are online. All of y'all's position papers are on our website. If you go to About Us, all of your position papers are on the website. So you can look at your position papers. If there's any positions that the council wants to add to the positions that we already have, we can add those. But staff will again make recommendations during August. So at the October meeting, you guys will review those proposals and then you will approve the mission statement and position papers. In January 2025, the whole council reviews and approves the executive committee's recommendations for the mission statement and position papers. And then the council members can offer concepts for the 5-year plan. So based off things, barriers, or anything that you see that's going on in your regions, you can make suggestions for concepts for the 5-year plan during that January 2025 meeting. And so those recommendations will come from your standing committees. So whatever standing committee that you're a part of, that committee will be responsible for making recommendations to the full council for the 5-year plan concepts. Just skipping down to the public forums, it is our goal to have more than 2, but we will at least hold 2 across the state. Last 5-year plan, they held 2. One was in Shreveport and then the other one was in Baton Rouge. If we are only able to hold 2, one will be in the northern region again, but we're thinking more northeast, like the Monroe area, and then Baton Rouge again, since this is our capital area. But it is our goal to have more than 2, just to kind of hit the different sections of the state, like the central part, the southern part, maybe New Orleans, the western part, maybe Lake Charles. It is our goal, but we don't know where we're going to be in May 2025. Session will be in then. And so we don't know what the session holds for next year. We do know that it is a fiscal session, so they're going to be discussing money a lot and they're predicting a fiscal cliff. So again, we don't know where we'll be, but we will at least hold 2 public forums.
We lost them.
Renata, if you're still there, we lost the quorum because you don't have your camera on.
Oh, she's still on. It's okay.
She's still there. We can see her.
I see it.
Okay. Now we have it back. So after the public forums, there'll be a public input survey based on the information gathered from those public forums. Well, the public will rate what concepts you all have, or we have gathered from the public forums to determine what the council should focus on for their next 5-year plan. So just kind of going through, the number 12 and 13 will probably be the most important for the council. That is when the ad hoc committee will be developed. You guys will be discussing your goals and objectives based on all of the research that we'll provide the council. But 12 and 13 are very important meetings. And there'll probably be multiple meetings over multiple days because the 5-year plan is very intense. Yes. So does anyone have any questions about the plan? Jill?
I have number 7 on my document that I printed. The establish the committee is number 7.
That's correct.
Okay,
I can share now.
okay. Alright, I thought you said 14 and 15.
Well, I was saying 12 and 13 are the actual planning meetings, Jill.
Oh, okay, my
Yeah, that-
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jill, for number 7, that's just at the April meeting when people are going to volunteer or the chair is going to appoint that ad hoc. But then the
Okay.
actual, like Ebony was saying, like 12 and 13 are when the actual meetings of that ad hoc are gonna be. And if you
Okay.
look, it's before the next council meeting.
Okay, and just wanted to make sure I had the right paper. Thanks.
No problem, you got it. There was one other thing that I just wanted to mention about this. This is gonna be a very busy time for the council because not only are we developing the 5-year plan, but we still have to develop the annual work plan. So we'll have to be thinking ahead 5 years for 2027 to 2031, but also working on our annual plan that's for 2026. I'm not sure.
Double worth it.
Yeah, so it is kind of a big task at that, kind of all at the same time, so.
So do we have any other questions about the process, or are there any recommendations from the committee for changes?
When you say it's gonna be a lot of, oh, I'm sorry,
You, go ahead. Yes,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
You saying it's gonna be a lot of process to get this lined up and to get it to where we need to get it.
Not a lot, it's just gonna be tedious. It's gonna be a lot of work for that, that 1 year, because they're doing a 5-year plan and a yearly plan. So they're gonna be very busy. Yes. Is there anything else? Anybody else? Right? I need a motion to go ahead and approve the process that's presented. Sorry. Do we have a motion? Jill? Unmute. Okay,
I'll motion it.
okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to approve the process as presented. Is there any debate from committee members? Is there any public comment?
No.
No, okay. No comments in the chat box?
No chat box.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Are you ready for the question? The question is on whether to approve the process that was presented in regards to the 5-year plan. We have to vote. Okay. When Ebony called your name, please respond with yes if you're in favor of the motion, or no if you're opposed to the motion, or abstain if you're not voting.
Okay. So Ms. Jill Hano,
Yes.
Ms. Angela Harmon, Ms. Brooke Stewart, Ms. Renata Washington.
Yes.
That's 2 yeses,
2 yeses.
0 nays.
The yes votes have it, and the motion is adopted. The next item of business, we can go ahead and go on, sorry. Okay, so the next item of business is the consideration of vendors for the federal fiscal year 2025 action plan activities. The chair recognizes Ms. Ebony Haven.
Okay, so you guys have one contractor for activity 2.1.3. That is the navigating the system, the developmental disability system, behavioral health system, and the managed care organizations. We only received one proposal, and that was from the ARC of Louisiana. So you guys have the proposal in your packet. It is included in your packet. And the executive committee did send in ratings for each of the contractors that sent proposals. So I'll share that document with you guys. Just listing the ratings. I know we only had one person to apply for.
No, Ebony.
Yeah, I have it.
I have a new one. It's
Oh, do
updated.
you want to share it then?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know to send it too. I got Christie's scores too.
Okay. Rakisha's sharing the scores, so I think we only received 3, right? 3 ratings for the ARC. We didn't receive everybody's.
I don't, let me look real quick.
So I know the average looks low, but it's only because we only had 3 members to rate the ARC because they were the only people to send in a proposal for this particular activity. So they had 76%. Does anybody have any questions about the ARC's proposal? Mhm. I thought so.
Can I come take a comment?
Yeah.
I was just wondering, will, like, the toolkit that they construct, will that be able to be visible for the DDC website?
So I know.
I know this, is it
In
like,
their proposal, they state that they're gonna create a webpage on the ARC's
okay,
page. They do always give us access to all the materials and everything that they create for their trainings. So that is something that the council will have access to as well. But in their proposal, I know that they state that they will create a webpage and all of the materials, the toolkit.
okay,
I think they're producing a guide to hand out at each of the trainings. So that guide, the toolkit, any materials for the professionals that they're gonna create is gonna be on their website.
I'm just concerned, like, those who may not be able to attend, or, you know.
So they're also gonna have
Yeah.
one, like in their summary, it says that they'll have one webinar.
Yeah.
And
The webinar is gonna be accessible.
yes, so it should be, it's for anybody that can, if you can't go in person, then you could go to this one. Oh wait, it's for professionals, the webinar, but it will be trained, or at least we're gonna put on there to see if they can record it. So that way it is there. So the webinar, a web-based training for professionals on using the information kind of that they get from those statewide ones to help the professionals know how to move.
Okay.
Or that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, and that's just my concern, because even with my son transitioning, we were at a loss, because as a parent, you don't know what to do next. So having those written documents, I'm a visual person.
Right.
Having something that you can see actually on paper makes a big difference. It helps, so.
And this one's specifically for the co-occurring disorders. So But kind of like what Ebony was saying, they usually share.
Mhm,
And
okay,
they usually have like a website or web page dedicated for their information. But it
And
could be,
they do surveys after each training. So I know that they are actively take the information in their surveys and they make changes.
okay.
So if the participants are saying that something's missing or they would like to see this, I know they always adjust to the feedback that they receive. Does anybody else have any questions about the ARC's proposal? Okay, so we can move on to activity 3.1.5. Oh, you have a
I'm
question?
sorry, is this public or since we're on the committee or? So just since we only have one, in the past, do we all, if everybody just always goes with that one? Or what are the choices that usually happens if you only have one proposal?
So if we only have one, you can choose to go with the contractor that submitted the proposal, or the staff can put out the proposal for another time period to see if we get any other interested
Responses,
parties.
okay.
Mhm.
And I just think like, since if the council's paying for it, it should go on our website and then they should put it on their website. Just for easy access, like we're funding it. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I feel like we're paying you to do this. You giving it back to us, that's not. And then we should own the rights to it to keep for however we want. And that way, even if we want to do something else with it later, we could use it as a reference.
Actually, we have a comment
Yes,
from Ashley McReynolds with the ARC.
go ahead.
The council will receive the guide and other documents that can be shared.
And we will be able to put it on our website? Okay, just confirming we'll have,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we'll have, they share all of their things, so we have access to everything that they share at their meeting.
Because I just know for one of it was like the self-direction one.
Yeah.
Or some training they had that expired that we didn't have. When I had first started, I don't think it was some
Was it
training that they
supported
had.
decision making?
Yeah, something with that they had put up and it was available on their website, but I think that, and it could be mistaken, but the council had paid for it or sponsored it, and you had to do a little bit of digging to find it. So,
To find it on their website?
yeah.
Okay.
I just think directly there.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the problem is like the resources, you have to dig all these different resources. And that can be hard for parents and people with disabilities having to go 50 million websites to get appropriate information.
I agree. Okay.
Is this the only one that, this is the only person, this is the only one that we have to deal with, we have to deal with?
This is the only one that applied for it, yes.
But this is the first time we have to deal with it.
With ARC, no. We deal with them a lot. Y'all wanna? With
Yeah,
ARC,
we have several contracts with the ARC right now. So currently they're doing a disability voting training for us. They are also over the People First contract and they just did their annual People First conference that was in June. So we have 2 other contracts with them currently and we contracted with them in the past too, like for the supported decision-making training. And I'm sure there's been others that aren't coming to my mind right now.
But it's not the first time we ever had, we had good dealings with them.
Yeah, we have very positive relationship with the ARC.
Yeah.
is that anybody else? Okay. I thank you, Ebony. At this time, I will entertain a motion to recommend a vendor for the activity 2.1.3. So we need a motion.
I move to accept the proposal from the Arc of Louisiana for the activity for navigating the system for people with dual diagnoses.
Thank you, Jill.
Sorry.
Is there a second? Was there a second?
I second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nada. It is moved and seconded to accept the vendor for the Arc of Louisiana for the navigating the systems for activity 2.1.3. Is there any debate? And no public comment? Okay. Ready for the question? The question is on accepting the proposal from the Arc of Louisiana for activity 2.1.3, navigating the systems for dual diagnosis. That's what it is. There it is. Navigating supports and services for people with co-occurring disabilities. So when Ebony calls your name, please respond with yes if you're in favor of the motion, or no if you're opposed to the motion, or abstain if you're not voting.
Ms. Jill Hano,
Yes.
Ms. Angela Harmon, Ms. Brooke Stewart, Ms. Renata Washington.
Yes.
That's 2 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, so the motion is adopted and the Arc of Louisiana is selected. So now we will move on to activity 3.1.5, the transition to adulthood training proposals. The first one up is the HD Guillory Incorporated.
Okay, so I think we received all 5 of the executive committee scoring for HD Guillory and Team Dynamics. And so you can look at the scores that were received. HD Guillory received like a 60. If you're looking at the grading, Team Dynamics received 93% of the scoring from the executive committee. So it seems like you all must have liked the proposal from Team Dynamics just a little bit better than HD Guillory. So does anybody have any questions, or is there any discussion?
I have the same one as what we had earlier about making it readily available since we are providing the funding for it. Yes. And the toolkit be accessible to our website.
And that's something that during if you all decide to go with Team Dynamics or even HD Guillory, that's something that we will work out in the contracting portion of things before we sign the contract with them to make sure that the materials are
readily available.
Yes.
Okay.
I found that HD Guillory contract wasn't as like, and I don't want to say black and white because I mean it's my job to search for the answers I was looking for, but like I find Team Dynamics, it was definitely more apparent that they have had what we were looking for on their specific contract. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very
You wanna go ahead? Any other questions? Okay. At this time, I will entertain a motion to recommend a vendor for the activity 3.1.5 transition to adulthood training. So I need a motion.
Jill or Renato, would any of you like to put forth a motion for one of these proposals?
I motion to accept Team Dynamics to transition for adulthood. And what I meant to say is HD Gallery's proposal was not as straightforward. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Is there a second? She's talking. Unmute. Ms. Renata, you're muted.
I second it.
Thank you. So it is moved and seconded to accept the proposal from Team Dynamics on activity 3.1.5 transition to adulthood training. Right? Any debate from committee members? All right, are you ready for the question? Oh, any public comments on?
No public comment.
Okay. The question is on whether to accept the proposal for Team Dynamics for activity 3.1.5, the transition to adulthood training. When Ebony calls your name, please respond with yes if you are in favor of the motion and no if you're opposed to the motion, abstain if you're not voting.
Okay, Ms. Jill Hano,
Yes.
Ms. Angela Harmon, Ms. Brooke Stewart, Ms. Renata Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Renata Washington, yes, I've been forgetting to do that. That's 2 yeas and 0 nays.
The motion is adopted and Team Dynamics is selected for the activity 3.1.5 proposal. All right. Anything else? Are there any public comment?
No public comment.
All right. Is there any further business?
I just have an idea. I don't know where we would have put it, or if the executive council has one, but maybe to put contracts out to our other agencies that are mandatory partners, like OC, like contact Julie or I can't think of his name.
Action.
So my field.
Bill, yes.
Yeah.
Which are our partners anyway. They may be able to either take that up or blast it out to some of their other agent, other, especially Phil, other states and see what they're doing. Just so we have more to choose from. Cause I've been just sitting back for a while. It seems like we don't have a whole lot, a whole lot of choice.
Yeah.
You want to?
I was just gonna say, so we send out proposals in 2 different ways. The first way is I have a master list of emails, so it is, not like our listserv. It is like every superintendent of every school board in the state, every FHF director, every person at OCDD, like different directors of different things like libraries and
Right.
like that. So I send it directly to them first, and then we send it out as our, like in our constant contact to everybody else in the information. So I feel like we're casting our net pretty wide and we're just not getting a good return.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not on staff at all,
No.
but I'm thinking especially the ones that are on council, maybe try to encourage them.
Yeah, to share.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can definitely
Because-
do that, Lauren, yeah.
you know,
I will say also, if if any of the council members don't follow our Facebook, that really is something that you should do. We post everything that we send in the constant contact also gets put on social media on Facebook. So those proposals were on Facebook also. So even, if you wanted to give like a quick share, like, oh, if you're interested in this, you should really, look into it. And that's a good way to get the word out also.
Okay, that's something maybe we need to.
And I'll also just say, so for your FY 25 action plan, we are contracting with the Human Development Center,
okay,
Dr. Wilson, on 2 activities. And then with OCDD, there is 1 activity that we're contracting with
Okay,
them.
good.
Yeah.
all right, that's good to hear. Yeah, no, I know it's not coming from staff side. It's just, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
people are so inundated with stuff.
I was glad that we got rid of it.
Yeah. At least we got one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no, I agree. Trying to get the word out, yeah.
Sometimes it's easier if it's more, one-on-one, hey, I thought of this because you do that,
Right.
more personal.
any other announcements?
So the next meeting starts in about 3 minutes. That's the
Hearing
Act
none,
378.
hearing no objection, this meeting is now adjourned.
All right.
Yeah.